Funding for This Is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Music City Prep Clinic, Nashville-based provider for PrEP and offering comprehensive sexual health services in an environment designed to be safe, professional, and shame-free. Learn more at musiccityprep.org.
I'm Tasha A.F. Lemley, and this is Nashville. Welcome back to In My Place. This season, we're walking through the steps from homelessness to housing with folks who have done it. This series was created thanks in part to support from the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. And so far this season, we've talked about the first point of contact, building trust, and all the paperwork someone has to do and redo, and then lots of waiting and challenges. But today, we're going home. We're going to hear what it's like to finally open that door, what all it takes to get set up, and how that's different from you and me, who likely have a few more resources available to us. First up, though, let's hear from Kip Oshner, who you might remember from the past few episodes. He's the guy who was recovering from a life-threatening illness at the Village at Glencliff. Well, he got a place.
Paced around and got everything mapped out in my head. Then the excitement hit, and I'm not going to lie, I danced around the apartment a little bit by myself, but I was that excited where there's been tears of joy, and I'm literally dancing by myself to postmodern jukebox, but it was amazing.
Okay, so I totally love this moment. And this segment, we've got two guests who support people on their move-in days like what Kip has recently had. Sarah Champion is the co-director of The Beat, who recently started as a housing stability guide with a contributor. And Andrew Terry is the program operations team lead with a contributor. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. How do you guys feel when you hear Kip's reaction to getting a home? Like what's that like? Like, you were making this happen.
I'm grateful that he has the space to be excited.
Yeah.
It makes me very grateful that we know I'm not connected directly to him, but just knowing that he has that joy and that future, that he can look forward to something better than what he was before.
Do you ever get to witness kind of those moments of joy? And we're going to get into some of the complexities of the emotions of moving in, but do you get to see some of these dancing moments, or do you even dance yourself?
Definitely. I've had people that I just recognize pass me on the street, tell me that they've just got housing and they're jumping up and down. From that to having specific clients that I'm working with find out that they're just getting housing after having worked with them for a long period of time to get there. And that is such a big moment of relief to get to that point.
Yeah. What about you, Andrew? Like, do some of your clients, I mean, I think that finding out that information seems to be one of those more pure moments of joy.
Definitely. One moment that kind of stuck out to me was where I got a gentleman housed. He was living out his car, and once he got the news that we got the approval for the voucher, he was, grateful just because he was staying on the couch. The car that they were living in, it ended up getting repossessed, and unfortunately, he didn't have a place to turn. Luckily, he had a friend, but the situation with the friend wasn't turning out too well. But the news of him getting the voucher approved and us doing the briefing call, and then me actually showing him the voucher as, something concrete, hey, there's a better future ahead of you. That was just a moment we shared, and I almost shared a tear myself, just because though I'm not in that situation, I'm still sharing that moment, and I'm trying to connect with them and be his best support I can to let them know, hey, you don't need to give up. It's more coming for you, and it's only up from here. Just because I can imagine they probably thought it was nothing else coming for them after losing the car, after losing their previous apartment, and then having the diagnosis of a heart surgery. It was just a lot for him. So it was great that I can at least make that connection to get him housed. And then once we did the move in and he got the key in the hand, it was just, I think all I did want to do, I said, hey, let's take a picture of this moment so we can know, hey, this is what's happening right now.
Yeah. And
what happened before, it really doesn't matter.
Oh, gosh. Thank you, Andrew. So is there like a typical move-in day? Does it tend to look the same?
Not typically. You got a lot of different situations that might come up that might make a move-in day, chaotic. You might think it's supposed to be a good day, but you might have a last-minute notice of something that might be from a previous stay at another apartment complex that might hinder what you got going on moving forward. But I mean, it's no ideal or cookie cutter way to look at it. It's different for everybody.
Yeah. So what are some of the things you have to think of that might come up in that last day or as you're helping someone, get through that door?
The biggest thing I kind of think about is just the initial needs whenever you first move into a place. And it makes me think of, like, I moved myself personally before, but I didn't think of it in a different way. Well, I think of it now in a different way because, all right, these people have nothing. Like, I've experienced moving, and I've had furniture to move in with me. These people, they were at a point where they didn't have anything. So first thing I thought of was, all right, let's make sure that they're able to cook a meal and have the hygiene products to take a nice shower. And, those are the basic things I think of you want to do when you first move in. Hey, you might want to enjoy a meal. You want to take a shower, and a nice hot shower because you haven't had one in a long time. So those are the first things I kind of prioritize for the people I moved in. I got them some cooking supplies, make sure they can clean the dishes that they had, and make sure they have plenty of soap, towels, sheets. And unfortunately, because we didn't have a bed, I at least had an air mattress for them, and we just worked out the process of getting them some donation furniture. It just took a little bit of time, but that initial move in, we kind of just moved in with like bags, a box full of goods, and that's just it. And that's a humble beginning, but I think it's, it was still important for them, and they enjoyed it and were grateful for the moment, for sure.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Like, it's clicking for me that you are almost in that first night, even though this is their own place, you're sort of acting like a host. I mean, it sounds like, hey, I'm going to make sure you have a warm meal. Here's your towels. Here's a place to shower. You're almost hosting a person for their first night because they don't know this place yet. Sarah, so Andrew's been doing this for a few years. Is it about 6 years, Andrew?
No, I've been with the contributor about to be 3 years.
3
now.
years. And but you just had your very first move in, Sarah. So what did you learn? How did that go?
It went well because my client had a source of income. So we were able to get her into the apartment with the stuff that she had from the streets and then go immediately to the store and buy some basics. But that is not often the case. So one thing that I've learned is getting ahead and saying, okay, what are we going to need? Like Andrew said, for that first night, immediately to cook a meal, to make sure you have blankets to sleep, and a place to take a shower, because usually these complexes, they may only provide the clear shower curtain. So, making sure that you have a full shower curtain and shampoo and towels and toilet paper, because you may not come from the streets with all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly learning these small gaps and where we can help fill them so that they do feel comfortable. My first move in, they ended up sleeping on the floor the first night, and I felt really bad because that's not what I'm used to, but they were so elated to have a space inside, and they are used to sleeping on the ground, so they were totally fine with it. And that was my own sort of barrier to get past, is like, I am being a good host still, even though I don't have a full bed ready for you. You are still better than where we were.
Right. Yeah. And so you're saying, like, for your next moves, you're going to think a little bit of ahead, and each one, I'm imagining, you're going to build on what you've learned before. Andrew, are there some things you've learned? Are you tweaking along the way?
Definitely. It's a learning process, just because I feel like personally, whenever a regular person just moves into a house, it's like stuff comes up. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. So I only imagine, all right, people coming from absolutely nothing, their needs, they're going to be like not met initially, because I guess the focus is, hey, let's get in this place and let's get at least some air conditioning to comfort us, some type of, and luckily it's not cold, because, people be focused on, hey, let's just get in somewhere warm. We can care. Some people might not even care, like Sarah mentioned. Sleeping on the floor might be a good first start, just because, hey, we're at least inside. We don't have to worry about, someone coming to knock us over while we're sleeping.
Yeah, the door locks.
Even the police, the door locks. You don't have to worry about the police now coming to try and lock you up and put you away for not having a place to stay. You have a one step up, and, like I said, tweaking is something that we always going to have to do with the moving process, because, like I said, needs are just going to be coming up left and right whenever you first move in. You're never going to have 100% what you need.
Sarah, do you have a move coming up, or do you have one?
I just got word that we have the resources to have a few more clients move in. So I'm about to start the process from the beginning with a few new people. And I'm really excited because I think I've learned a lot, so I can help them feel more prepared and comfortable and truly make the move-in experience a celebration instead of just a scramble. That's my wish.
I want to go to a clip from Denny, and if you followed our series, you're going to remember him and his case manager, Stephanie, from People Loving Nashville. So Denny is 70 years old. He's legally blind and was living in a local park, but recently moved into a group home until he finds his next option. Let's hear from him.
Walked in immediately, I felt that air conditioning. Oh, I like that already. So there's nothing that you need that this place doesn't have. And it was good. Then when I was told, well, you can move in today if you want to, stuff just started rattling through my head, just one right after another. It was so fast that when we left here to go kind of get me set up with sheets, pillows, and pillowcases, and towels, and food and stuff like that, I couldn't really think straight. I was in here all night. The funny thing is, I woke up Friday morning, and I didn't know where I was at. And so I'm used to waking up, and you're outside, and it's just that way it is. And I woke up, and I'm like, I just look kind of as much as I can look around. Where am I? And I'm like, I'm on a bed. Oh yeah, I moved.
Oh man. Well, we've got some other good news about Denny. He just got his eye surgery, and he's hoping to get back some of his sight and with that, his independence. So I know I'm really relieved to hear that. And that clip hits me. I think I've listened to it a few times, and just putting myself in his position, I can only, imagine what it feels like to not even be able to see well and wonder where you are the next day, but also have so much joy about it. So I'm grateful that's the turn that he's had right now. And if you're just tuning in, this is Nashville, and I'm your host today, Tasha A.F. Lemley. This is episode 7 of season 2 of In My Place. It's our special series focused on finding the solution to homelessness. Today, we've gone home. Andrew, you mentioned your client you were working with who was couch hopping and did get a place to live. Is this the same man who also ended up needing major surgery?
Yes, he did have major surgery also. He had major surgery, which led to my initial referral to work with him. My primary role at the Contributor is I do SOAR, which is a model for disability benefits, and he was referred to work with our program directly from there. And then I also address the need for housing too with that.
So you're feeling, I'm imagining, a lot of pressure with this particular man and his situation. Talk to me a little bit about that. Did that pressure his specific circumstances? It sounds like maybe it also opened doors quicker for him.
Absolutely. So the pressure definitely was on because I met him initially at the hospital. I met him after what he explained, it was a regular day for him. He collapsed. He was working, and he found out he had undiagnosed COPD. And then it turned out he also had a coronary artery disease that required surgery. So this was all a brand new life shift for him. He was working a regular life, and it's like over a snap of a finger, he was, disabled, it seems. He didn't recognize that he had symptoms of, COPD or anything. But due to him just trying to work and provide and try and move forward in his life, he was living in his car at that time too. Mm-hmm. So he was still trying to move forward and build from what they're already lost from. So it was like, all right, he took a hit while he was already probably at his lowest point in his life, he felt. So I definitely felt the pressure to need to try and provide some support and some type of understanding. Hey, I know it's rough right now. I know he said he thought he was going to die, honestly, and that was big for me because, again, I'm meeting him and I'm thinking, all right, I know I'm not a medical specialist. I'm not able to do anything medically to make him feel better or tell him anything that's going to make him feel better. What I can do is provide some service to, take the weight off his shoulder. And luckily, he's now been housed. He got approved for disability. So, being honest, he's, well off now. Honestly, we check in once a month, maybe every other week or so, just to make sure, hey, I want to make sure you're alive and you're still well. You getting the food you need. If you need to, get a food box or anything, that's kind of, again, the follow-up care we kind of have to provide just because not everything is going to be addressed right then and there. And, with his health concerns, he probably I know for a fact he makes his health concern his main priority. So he has help and needs reminders for, eating right. And I think we've also signed them up for the Wheels on Meals service just to help with that as well, to make it a little easier for them.
So you guys are still working after someone's been housed to get them a lot of the things they need, make sure their legs stay up under them as much as possible. And that's community. So it's once someone is in housing, they can't do it by themselves. And so, Sarah, how are you being a support to them after those first couple days?
There's still a lot to be done once you've moved in. I mean, unfortunately, eviction is always on the table as a concern. If you miss a payment, you don't have enough money one month, you break a rule that you maybe didn't even know. So helping them navigate the rules of this new space. How are we
even reading the lease? We're going to talk about that a lot our next episode. But I've seen one of these, like the code of conduct, even for some of these places, is something that I've never received when I've moved into an apartment, but someone you're working with might.
Yeah. And one thing I've noticed is a lot of people will want to help their friends, but usually in the code of conduct, there is some sort of limit that you can have somebody staying with you. So just making sure that they are aware of those parameters so that we don't go past them or break them, and then we're at risk to lose the housing that we have so coveted. Usually when people move into housing, not everything is happening at once. So maybe they still need to get food stamps or have their disability sorted out. So there is always still much to be done.
Do you ever see someone reluctant when they're moving in because of what they might lose, like the community that's been around them?
Definitely. I've had several clients go through really hard periods of time because they are now inside by themselves a lot of the day. And so they get lonely. They miss being outside, being among people, and that sort of community that exists on the streets where you're seeing a lot of people every day. And now your environment has completely shifted, and it's just a big change.
Andrew, what do you advise to someone who's experiencing that?
Sometimes silence can be very loud, and he might, I don't know what their mindset is whenever they initially move in, but I know it's a transition for them, and it's something not used to the norm. So I get there might be some type of, I feel, survivor remorse because you got people that you're leaving behind that you were connected to, and I just let them know, hey, their circumstances are different from yours, and I'm sure that their blessings or anybody else that you encountered, you will cross paths at some point, and it'll be when it's meant to be.
Well, Andrew and Sarah, thank you. We've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, a couple people are joining us who've been through this process from the other side of the door, so stay tuned.
Funding for This Is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Music City Prep Clinic, Nashville-based provider for PrEP and offering comprehensive sexual health services in an environment designed to be safe, professional, and shame-free. Learn more at musiccityprep.org.
I'm Tasha A.F. Lemley, and this is Nashville. This is episode 7 of season 2 of our special series, In My Place. It's a series about finding home in Nashville. Brought to you in part thanks to support from the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. And before the break, we heard from a couple service providers who help people experiencing homelessness get a place to live. And now we've got guests with us who have experienced this from the other side. Jonquil Stewart recently moved into a shared living space managed by Community Care Fellowship. And we also have Billy Warner, a case navigator and certified peer recovery specialist with Community Care Fellowship. And so, Billy, you've been helping with move-ins for a while. You've heard some of the first segment of this episode. How do you help folks prepare? Is there anything different about your strategy?
No, we do basically the same thing. We meet them where they're at. We try to get them housing ready. We get them welcome boxes and everything, and just try to get them settled in.
And you've experienced this yourself. And how do you use your personal experience as a peer recovery specialist to help people prepare for that move? Like, how are you able to bring yourself into this?
Well, I show empathy because I've been there. I know what they're feeling. So I try to meet them where they're at, don't judge, and just hold their hand and walk on out because I know how hard it is to stay housed.
Speaking of, so Jonquil, what was moving like for you?
I'm not for sure how to answer that. It was, I'm not for sure.
Yeah. So you're in a shared living space, right?
Right.
Is that the place you wanted?
It's not ideal, but it's better than what I came from.
Where'd you come from?
Homeless.
Yeah. Were you in a shelter or a street homeless?
Yeah, on the street homeless.
Yeah. So the shared living space is not ideal, but it sounds like you're still grateful for it.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. What are the hard parts of being in a shared living space? For our listeners who may not know exactly what we're talking about when we say shared living space, do you have your own room with a locking door?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I don't think I really want to answer that.
Okay. What have been the good parts about moving in?
I can get some rest.
Yeah, get some rest. How long have you been inside?
Maybe 100 days.
Okay. Well, thank you. Denny, who we heard from earlier, is one of your roommates, or he has another room in the same place you're at. The man, older gentleman with who has vision difficulties, and you're working at night. That's also got to be a challenge with being in a place with other people. How is that working for you? How are you able to get some rest and work at night when other roommates may be up during the day?
I kind of stay to myself. I don't really interact that much with people. I think night shift work for me, but that don't bother me. I don't try to bother them. So I just come in and go to sleep, get up and leave.
So Billy, you're managing this space?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How do you pick people for it?
Oh, I vet them pretty hard because the guys I got in this place, they're doing really good for themselves. So I want to keep that going. So I really vet the people who I bring in here because
it can make it or break it based on one person's needs or personality.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm not trying to turn it into an encampment with a roof. I'm just being honest. I want people that's sober-minded and, wanting to do the right things in that place because I got Jonquil in there. He's doing really great. And I want, Denny, he's doing good. I don't want no bad apple to ruin the vibe I got going in there.
How many people are in this space, and can you kind of describe what it looks like for us?
It's a 4-bedroom house. The only downside is 1 bathroom, but
Ooh.
it's 4-bedroom, 1 bath. They share the common area, the living room, and the kitchen, but they all got their own bedroom. Right now, I got 3 good guys in there right now. I put a referral in for the 4th one, so I'm waiting to hear back for that.
For someone specific? Or no, you just put in a referral saying we're open to taking someone new?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What are you looking for in that 4th person? Like if you could dream up the right fit.
A sober-minded person that wants to keep his life straight, that's on the right path. I know we hit bumps. I'm there for the bumps. I'm not going to chastise you if you fall back and do this. Let's learn from it. What we learn from it. Let's move on. So I'm there for a supporting role too. So I want somebody there that, hey, I'm grateful for this. This is a hand up, not a handout. Let's do it. So that's who I'm looking for.
I've got a close friend that lives in a shared living house in North Nashville, and it's 7 rooms. They each have their own bathroom, which is a huge plus, shared kitchen. But it has been really, really hard for her to feel safe, to feel like she can get rest, like Jonquil's saying. And so what is your advice to someone who might be moving from the street and has concerns about, I'm not sure I want a situation like that?
That's the hardest thing about shared living. Not everybody's personality is going to mesh. It's like college, I guess. You got to mesh. You got to get along with your roommates because basically they're roommates.
Right.
And coming from the streets, the personalities, the mental health they have going, the past drug abuse they have going, it's hard. And another thing is trust. They got to learn trust because, they got to trust each other or they don't want to be in there. You know, like you said, your friend is learning to trust. And that comes in time. You know, it's get to know your neighbors, you know, go to the common areas and hang out, get to know each other, you know, ask each other what can I help you with? You know, let's grow together. We're in this together, you know, till we move out. Let's make it worth it. You know, let's not bump heads. You know, it's just going to make it worse for the rest of us. Let's just enjoy each other, become friends, you know. Let's see what we could do to help each other out.
Jonquil, what are you hoping for next?
My own, with like my name on the lease.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Section 8 voucher, or just to have my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be ideal. That would be, initially that's what I thought it was anyway, but yeah, I just want to be to myself really, like to get my own or try to start my life back by myself, or where I can see me starting my life at, but just being by myself really.
So it sounds like this is a stepping stone. Are you want to get your life back? You say you want to start again. Is the shared living space, is it helping and holding you back at the same time?
I wouldn't even know how to answer that. But I'm just grateful to be there.
Yeah, so it is good. And you feel like when you get to the next place, it'll be another bump up to where you want to be.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you. I want to go to another clip from Kip Oshner. And he's, again, the man who was living at the Village at Glencliff. And for him, the day of his lease signing was also when he first met his new housing stability guide. And that's Carly Tharp. You'll hear her summon this as well.
So with my vision problems, I couldn't actually, it was very small print and I couldn't read it. So we had to go pretty much, not line by line, but section by section. And she had to really break it down. A lot of my questions were, when is rent due by? What is the late fee? Stuff like that. Hooking up utilities, getting it transferred into my name. And then also, can I paint? I really want to, I don't want gray walls, you know. I can paint, yep. And I'm allowed to have a dog. And so I'm excited for that. And after we got through all the paperwork, she took me up to my actual unit. We inspected it, went through and make sure everything worked. And then as she was leaving, she wanted me to check the key in the door. And for some reason, physically holding that key and hearing that deadbolt click, all the anxiety and stress and anxiousness, it's like it all went away, just like in that moment. We have spent the last 9 months, the village and myself, trying to work toward permanent housing. And it all of a sudden became something that we weren't just talking about. It was something physical. And it was just the most incredible feeling.
My name is Carly Tharp. I work with the Contributor in Nashville. I'm a housing stability guide and the Contributor SNAP coordinator. And Kip and I are going to work for the next 9 months on a program called Critical Time Intervention. When somebody first gets housed, or very soon after that, or say somebody is housed and they have been for a while, but they're not thriving, they're just barely scraping by. That's where I come in, and we work on whatever Kip wants to work on for the next 9 months. If he wants to focus on health, or if he needed help finding a second job, or if he needed therapy. Basically, my job is to help him accomplish his goals. I let the client lead. If they are excited to meet, I try to meet really soon. If they are really busy, you know, it might be a few weeks before they have space to meet with me. I might text them the first several times. If Kip comes to me later and says, hey, I need help getting food stamps, I don't fill out the application for him. I sit down with my computer and we do it together. My job is to connect Kip with resources and to ultimately help ensure that he stays housed.
She mentioned resources, and that's really what it is going to be. I'm navigating a foreign territory, right? It's a situation I've never been in. So it's been that way this whole time, really. But to get to meet Carly and realize that this is the next chapter. So it'll be exciting to get to know her.
So Billy, in this clip, Kip links up with Carly. What is a housing stability guide? And does it have other names like case manager? Like what do you call her role?
Housing navigator, resource navigator, case manager.
And what does this person do?
So I'm going to speak on me because
speak on you.
I'm a case worker. So I help people get their documents so I can get them housing ready. So when they come into our program at CCF, it's a 90 to 120-day program. With that being said, after 120 days, we're not going to remove them out of our program because, our main goal is to get them housed. So within 30 days, I'm supposed to get their documents. I tell you, Social Security is the worst document to get because it's the hardest document to get because now you got to make an appointment. You can't just walk up in there and get a Social Security card. So now you got to go on the computer, make an appointment, and go. And with that being said, with our guests holding on to their hard copy ID is kind of difficult too because they might have it one day, might not have it the next, and then you're back to square one. But anyway. But yeah, we help them get their documents, and then we get them housing ready for a Section 8.
How do you handle the pass-off when that role is done, those initial documents and getting someone inside?
So we're, as Community Care Fellowship, we're partnering with MinMe, which is a wraparound service. So once I get them housed, I'll put a referral in for MinMe, and they'll come in and take up where I left off. So they'll give them wraparound services, which are kind of like the contributor does, come in and help them out, with their basic needs and, just continue on.
Do you say goodbye to your people?
Oh, I got a lasting friendship with my people. No, they got my phone number, so I still talk to people from 2 years ago. We're family. Once they come to me, we're family. We're not guests and case navigator. We're family. Like I tell my people, I'm not above you. I'm not below you. I'm your equal. We're going to hold hands and walk this out together. No, that's just not me.
Jonquil, before we take a break, what do you need? What do you need right now in your process?
Oh, the Section 8 voucher.
Yeah.
I just need that to go through.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Billy. We've got to take one last short break, and when we come back, Lisa Abel joins us on the show again to talk about her first days in her new place. This is Nashville.
Funding for This is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Music City Prep Clinic, Nashville-based provider for PrEP and offering comprehensive sexual health services in an environment designed to be safe, professional, and shame-free. Learn more at musiccityprep.org.
I'm Tasha A.F. Lemley, and this is Nashville. This is episode 7 of season 2 of our special series, In My Place. And if you happen to be tuning in just this episode, you've missed a whole lot. And the rest of the season has been all about the fits and starts folks experience when unhoused and trying to get a permanent home. But don't worry, you can go back and listen anytime, and you've tuned in for a good one. We're talking about move-in day. Lisa Abel is back here with us, and when she was a guest on last month's episode, she mentioned she had some concerns before moving into her current apartment, which is in a tower. But before I ask about that, Lisa, you've been sitting in the control room like during the rest of this episode, hearing what folks have to say. What's going through your head? I'm just curious. Like, what kind of things have you been thinking?
Well, mainly I've been thinking how crucial it is that those of us who are or were homeless have support people. That if I hadn't had that, I wasn't really fully conscious of how much support that was when it was happening. I was still recovering from trauma, basically the trauma of being homeless for 4 years. So, yeah, I'm really moved by all the people who want to work in this field or even who are volunteering. I'm very grateful.
So what are those supports you had that now you recognize?
People made sure I had food stamps to start with. They checked my ID and said, "This is expired." I said, "Yeah, I don't have the money to fix that." And they got me another driver's license, went with me to the DMV, and did everything but hold my hand, which was fantastic, and paid for that as well. They started looking into my mental health issues, which were starting to really show. One of them is sleep apnea, and so I needed a machine. They got me to a psychiatrist who also helped put me on some medicine I needed, and then got me to a sleep doctor referral. And so my life started to turn around, but it all happened. It didn't happen in sequence. Like, I think I'd been with the contributor for 6 to 9 months when they started saying, "Would you like a place to live?" And I said, "Well, I have a camper out in the poor person's exurbs of Nashville. I was extremely lonely and isolated, but I didn't feel like I had it worse. I felt like the people sleeping on the curb had it worse." And they said, "Well, there's one factor. You're in your 60s, and old people's lifespans are cut short by 15 to 20 years when they don't have housing." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm in then."
Sign me up. So when you walked into your apartment, talk me through that. What was that like? It's in a tower.
It was in a tower. I was terrified because I was extremely traumatized by the 9/11. I had just gotten up when I saw the footage on TV. I thought it was a Hollywood movie, and then it wasn't, of course. So I didn't ever want to live in a tower. So I told Justin, my wraparound services helper, that I was terrified, and that I would be willing to be maybe on the 3rd or 4th floor, right next to the stairwell, with a way to get outside, like a balcony or window that opens. And he managed to find me all of that.
No way.
Yeah. It's on the 4th floor. It's right next to the stairwell. I have a little balcony.
What?
Yeah. And I put my little cooking herbs out there, and a little relaxed back chair. This all has happened over the last 2 years. It didn't happen like that day, obviously.
So you've been in this place now for 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I first got in, I was actually terrified to just go in. I had toured the place before and then signed a lease, and didn't realize I needed an ID in order to be able to sign a lease, and that they were probably checking to see all kinds of things about me. There was a background check involved. I had no idea that some landlord could have ruined it all for me. And I've always treated my landlords really nice, and a lot of the reason that I was homeless was a buildup of 10 or 15 years of getting booted out due to gentrification in Nashville, not because of landlord troubles. So gentrification.
The neighborhood was changing. They either wanted to sell the place you were in, or...
I sold it right out from under me, yeah. So at some point after 20 moves, you start losing money. You start losing your sense of space and time and everything, you know.
Does this place feel like home now?
Yes, it really does. And one of the reasons is because when Justin was showing it to me, I said, "Is that a community center over there?" He said, "Yeah, can you drive up there for a minute?" So I hopped out and I walked in, and Miss Jackie looked up and opened her arms and said, "Welcome." And I was kind of in shock, like, okay.
At the community center.
Yeah.
Never seen this woman before.
No. Open arms. Literally, her arms are open. I said, "Hi, do you guys have swimming here?" She said, "Yeah, and it's free to you." I said, "Why is it free to me?" She said, "Well, aren't you in the towers?" And I said, "How did you know that?" She said, "Well, I figured that's why you're over here checking it out." And
yeah.
So that sold me. I have free swimming. I have this wonderful, warm community of people that literally are friendly and open-minded and welcoming me, finding out what I need. People in my immediate neighborhood got me things like toilet paper and paper towels and paper plates and things that you need on day one.
It sounds like in your case, you are actually less lonely than when you were homeless, like distinctly less lonely.
Yes. I did have good friends, but I was alone 99% of the time. Yeah, no, like all my neighbors immediately were friendly. I was friendly because I was so excited too. And you're always in the elevator with somebody, right? So, and when I first moved in there were some troubles because of fentanyl, which is just assaulting the United States. But that has been cured through a technique that the security guards are using that I'm not going to reveal.
Well, I'm going to ask you about that once we turn off the mics. Did you have a lot of things to move when you moved in? Because you're coming from a trailer. Did you have a trailer full of things?
Well, what was funny is I was very anxious about things like, should I leave my soap bar here at the trailer or should I bring it with me?
So kind of analysis paralysis. Like
Yeah.
each thing was weighing on your mind.
Yeah. So I brought, I think while I was homeless, I had various people in tiny house situations and other situations give me 3 or 4, maybe 5 memory foam mattresses. And at the time, my truck was running, so I was able to roll one up and bring it right away.
Okay.
But the main thing was grief over leaving the spot where I was, which, an acre of land, a good friend. But it was so exciting to be in the new place. But really what was the most exciting was constant air conditioning, running water, a toilet right there that I didn't have to use a porta potty and go find a place to empty it and all that fun stuff. So just, and being out of the heat, because I moved in August, that was huge. I did have some furniture in a friend's barn, and I was able to save up a little money and get, due to working for the contributor as a vendor, I was able to get a friend to pay him a ridiculously small amount of money to help me get some of that furniture
To
into
move
my
it for
apartment.
you. Okay.
Yeah. And it all fit perfectly because, after moving 20 times in 15 years, I had very mobile furniture, very light mobile furniture. That was the only stuff I kept.
One of that being a memory foam mattress. Was that what you slept on your first night?
No, I slept on a yoga mat my first night.
Oh, Lisa. Gosh, I tried to do that once. And how did that go?
Well, when you've been in rough circumstances, your body learns to sleep anyway.
Okay.
But because I had sleep apnea, whenever I laid down, I was out.
Okay.
But I wasn't getting proper sleep. I wasn't getting enough REM sleep and stuff. That took several months to work through, like 9 months to get that sorted. The time I got that sorted, although I had accepted a 19-hour-a-week job, I wasn't able to keep it because I couldn't keep my head on straight. But they found me, because they believed in me, they found me a different job, much smaller hours, and teaching art
Oh, gosh.
to kids and
You would be a
seniors.
fantastic art teacher.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you didn't anticipate moving in or something that you needed to plan for?
The anxiety,
You didn't expect that.
no. Just walking to the apartment and getting anxious.
You said you didn't want to go through the door. You didn't want to close the door.
It was anxious about being inside, so I spent a lot of time out on that balcony at first. And then I spent a lot of time out in the common area downstairs. I can't explain it. It was just this discomfort from not having been in an actual house in 4 years.
Did that slowly start to dissipate?
It did. I brought my cat there right away, and she loved it. She just stretched right out. That air conditioning, it was like,
She's
yeah.
I don't know what your problem is. I like it here. Thank you for moving me.
Yeah, exactly. So, she anchored me to the place, really.
And was she somebody you knew could come with you right away, or was that something that had to be worked out?
I snuck her in.
You snuck her in?
But then I asked what it would cost, and the manager at the time said $200 for a pet deposit.
Yeah.
I came back a month later, and the new manager said, "Oh, we're not going to charge you." They already thought of me as a good tenant.
Okay.
So I was really excited.
We're not going to boot her. What's her name? The cat. What's her name?
Oh, her name was
Oh,
Nefertiti.
Nefertiti. We're not going to kick out Nefertiti.
She was a brown seal point, but she was about 8 generations from being a brown seal point. But because her great-great-great-grandmother was so purebred that she looked purebred. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
What advice do you have for other people as they're preparing for their move-in day?
Make sure you ask for things that you're going to need, whether it's little things of shampoo or something to sleep on. But also remember that you can come and go as you want. Really practice using that key in the door. It's hard to remember to lock doors when you're not used to having a lock. So I'd recommend, get a lanyard or ask for a lanyard and put it around your neck. Just keep it around your neck all the time as you walk in and out so that you're never forgetting that you have a place.
It seems like that might help also with that anxiety of coming in and out or being, I don't want to use the word locked up, but it sounds like that's some of how you felt. Like
Yes.
You didn't want to be in there all by yourself.
To some extent, yeah. But the community there was so warm. I actually wrote a poem about them. You want to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear that.
Oh, wait. Is that the right poem? Sorry. Shouts greet me, jesting, compliments. Waylaid here now. I laugh and sit. I'll be late.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And so that's about the community that was around you at your new place.
Yeah. And I still have and continue to have new friendships there and now some older friendships. And some of the people actually go to my art class, and that's kind of fun. So,
before we go, talking about that community, what advice do you have for service providers or people in that community you experienced, or people who might want to be supportive to someone in a transition like this, going from homelessness to housing? How can they make this transition as smooth as possible, as celebratory as possible, and be ready for those bumps that might come?
Well, first of all, if you live in an apartment like that, reach out and shake a hand and ask, and tell them something like, "Oh, I have a couple extra rolls of toilet paper," or something. And see,
whatever it is.
Yeah, or I have too many spoons.
Yeah.
Here's where you can get your food boxes. Help them get oriented. Tell them a little bit about yourself. Don't start asking questions right away, because formerly homeless and homeless people are very protective of themselves, much more so than you would expect, because assault does happen on the street, and a lot of it is microaggressions. But someone might throw a beer bottle at you, or a full beer bottle even, just because they feel like it.
So being there in the small ways matters. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture.
Well, actually, it's the small things we need. We might need soap. We might need an extra pair of shorts. Someone noticed that I love to swim. She brought me 3 swimsuits she wasn't using.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. People would point out where people put things that they don't really need or want. And so I was able to gather some canned goods right away. Stuff like that.
Well, thank you, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to thank our other guests, Sarah Champion, Andrew Terry, Billy Warner, Jonquil Stewart. And thank you for listening. This is Nashville is a production of Nashville Public Radio. This housing series, In My Place, was created thanks in part to support from the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. Next month, we're talking about the challenges of having a home. We've touched on that a little bit today, but we're going to go all in. What to do when it's not always easy, because it's not. Our cover of In My Place by Coldplay is courtesy of Vein Melter. Today's episode was produced and directed by Judith Tackett. Our board operator is Liv Lombardi. Listen back at thisisnashville.org or wherever you get your podcasts. And the conversation doesn't have to end here. You can comment and tell us what you want to hear on the show by leaving us a message at 615-751-2500. I'm Tasha A.F. Lemley, and this is Nashville. We love you. Keep going, you guys.